How to Protect Yourself, Part 1. How to Protect Yourself, Part 1. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching the important things that really matter. Today, we're going to be going into How to Protect Yourself, Part 1. And so, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to do a series, probably about a series of maybe 3 different videos. And I'm going to talk about some very important subjects you need to be aware of. Before you get to the end of this video, you will know one aspect on how to protect yourself. What's important for you to realize right now? A lot of people don't look at the news. A lot of people don't look at the news. A lot of people don't keep abreast of what's going on the internet. And let me tell you some things that you may not know. There's a whole lot of companies that are out here laying off people. There's a whole lot of companies out here laying off people. One company, especially if you look on the internet, one company may be laying off 10,000 people this week. Another company laying off another 20,000 people next week. The week after that, another company laying off 10,000 people or so. And I know of at least probably about a dozen companies that are laying off 10 to 20,000 people at a time. And some of those companies, this is the second round of layoffs and firings. And 6 months from now or a year from now, there might be another round, second, third, fourth round of laying off and firing employees. Well, what does this have to do with how to protect yourself? Well, it has everything to do with how to protect yourself, because these are the people that you're going to have to be protecting yourself from. Because they've been laid off, they've been fired. A lot of these people may have ran out of unemployment. So many of these people are going to eventually turn to crime. If they can't find a job, or it's difficult to find a job, they ran out of unemployment. Okay, these are the people that you are going to have to look out for. And you can't just bring anybody by your house or by your apartment. I used to wonder why my grandmother, when I was a kid growing up and was a teenager and whatnot, well, how come my grandmother never really wanted me to bring anybody by the house? My grandmother raised me. She used to wonder why she would never really hardly want me to ever bring friends by the house. Well, one reason, because you bring certain people by the house, and by the time you bring them by the house, they want to eat up all your food. That's one reason. The other reason too is because some people that come over your house, they'll come in your house and look to see what you have. They'll look around, see what you have, and they'll be taking mental notes. We got a 50-inch. She got a 50-inch television on the wall, and this person got a computer over here on the other place, and this other person. So they come over to your house and they be staking out your house. They be memorizing what you got in your house to later on be thinking about what they go take from you. They go tell Pookie and Ray Ray, hey, Pookie, Ray Ray, I just been over my friend's house, and she got a 50-inch television on the wall. And got this computer over here, she got that, she got this, she got this. And some people that come over your house, they'll be staking your house out, seeing where the window's at. You got any bars on the windows or any of that crazy stuff? And will come by, set you up to try to rob you later on. So this is you have to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of your surroundings. Don't bring everybody by your house. And the whole purpose of me telling you about all these different people that's being laid off, and then a lot of these people running out of unemployment, these are the people that you're going to have to watch. These are the people that you're going to have to protect yourself from. Okay, so it's extremely important that you're aware of your surroundings. It's extremely important that you are aware of your surroundings. And so, for example, there was, and I'm going to say fair use. There was a lady that had noticed that while she was in one of the stores, she was walking around in one of the stores, a person came up to her and said, oh, you got a whole lot of stuff in your basket. He's like, no, I don't really have a whole lot of stuff in the basket. And then she thought it was unusual. Then she went to another part of the store, another person asked her the same thing. Okay. And so the person thought it was very, very unusual. Now, a person who is not paying attention would say to themselves, oh, well, that was just by coincidence. Okay. If you're not an observant person, after that had happened, that person should be, when they're leaving out of the store, should be looking around as to who's following behind her coming out of the store. Because some people might try to rob you in the parking lot. Some people, while you're trying to take your stuff out of the basket and put it into the trunk of your car, they might try to take your purse. And that has happened plenty of times to people. You know, you got a person sitting up here putting stuff in the trunk of the car, and then somebody drives by real slow and see that purse in the basket, and they just roll down the window while they're driving by real slow, grab your purse out the basket and take off in the car. They're still in the car. And you're like, hey, they gone now, they in the car. Right next to them, they about to hit on the freeway. Okay? You gotta be aware of your surroundings. You can't be sitting up here walking around in a daze or in la la land. Too many people being laid off. You know, don't bring everybody by your house. Bring very few people by your house. Don't let anybody know where you live at. All right? Very, very important for you to know these things. And so, got to be aware of your surroundings. Some of these people will try to rob you in the parking lot, out of the store that you just came out of. Some of these people will follow you back home. They'll look in your basket and say, okay, this person must make pretty good money because they got some nice expensive items in their basket. And they might try to follow you home and rob you. All right? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Another important thing that you need to share this video with as many women as possible, but not just as many women as possible, as many men as possible. Once again, first, fair use, fair use. I don't even know why I was looking at this television show one time, but there was a television show, and there was a couple of nosy white women, that had noticed that there was this van that was sitting in the parking lot for about a week. And so one lady was like, hey, Karen, Karen, did you notice that big white van sitting in the lot? Well, Joan, yeah, I noticed that too. That van's been out there for a week. I said, yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, we ought to go check that out. Yeah, girl, let's go check it out. So they went out there to the parking lot, seen this empty big white van. Well, two nosy white women. The two nosy white women were like, hey, there's nobody in the van. So they gonna sit up here and break into the van. So, it will be no black people thinking like that. But anyway, two of these white women, they gonna break into the van. They open up the van is empty. Okay? They open up the sliding door, it's empty. So one of the ladies told Karen, hey Karen, why don't you get in? And let's see if we can hear you yell if you're inside of the van. She's like, okay. So she gets into the van, she takes a sliding door and slams the door shut. Now the woman is right outside this big van. Right outside this big van. So she waits a few minutes, and then she opens up the van. She said, you didn't hear me? She said, hear you? What do you mean hear you? The woman was in the van yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs. The woman outside, just right outside the door of the van, couldn't hear anything the woman said. That's because whoever had the van had soundproofed the van. Did you hear me? Whoever owned the van had soundproofed the van, and it looked like the back of the van where the sliding door was like a cage. So they literally put that van there to abduct somebody, to kidnap somebody. All right? So the lady told her she was yelling at the top of her lungs and she couldn't hear her. And the woman was just right outside the door, sliding door. So ladies and men, here's something that you need to take in consideration. Very, very important that you need to take consideration. There are a lot of times you'll have a big white van. It don't even have to be a big white van. It could be a big black van. It could be a van of any number of color vans. Or it could be a big truck. But for intensive purposes, we'll talk about the van part. The person will be sitting there waiting for somebody to come next to you, and they'll be parked right next to your car. Now, you come next to your car, you pulling your keys out, trying to figure out what key to put in to unlock your door. And while you sitting up there trying to unlock your door, person slides open the van, grabs you, put their hand around your mouth, and throw you in the van. And they could probably do that in about 30 seconds or less. Probably about 20 seconds or less. Somebody can grab you, snatch you up, throw you in the van, shut that van door, and ain't nobody gonna hear you yelling and screaming, because I just told you the lady was right outside that van, couldn't hear that woman yelling and screaming inside the van. Just because they made the inside of the van soundproof. And the back of the van with the sliding door part of it was like a big old cage. So it only takes 30 seconds to snatch you up. So if you got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of surroundings. Once again, please like, please share, please subscribe. Please like, please share, please subscribe. And I'm not just saying this for women. I'm telling men this too. Kids also too. Don't go out to a car. You see a big old van next to your car, or a big old truck, something that go back in the mall, go back in the strip mall or the big mall, wait till it leaves, then you come back out and get in your car. Because it's only gonna take about 30 seconds to snatch you up. You follow what I'm saying? I just told you what these two women had found. This van was sitting in it, and the van was like there ready to be used to grab somebody up. There was another woman. I think this woman was down in somewhere around in Maryland. And a woman went out one morning to take her garbage out before she went to work in the morning. So while she was taking the garbage out, probably about 7 o'clock in the morning, there was a woman out there. So the woman's like, "Hi, how you doing?" She's like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" She's like, "Fine." So they talked for a little bit, and she was about to get ready to go to work. She turned and looked, and there was a man standing right behind her. The man and the woman were working together. The man and the woman was working together to snatch her up. So when the woman turned to the side and seen this guy standing not too far away from her, she knew that the man and the woman were working together, and they're gonna try to snatch her up. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is why it's extremely, extremely important for you to be aware of your surroundings. Don't be sitting up here in La La Land when you walking at the mall, or in La La Land when you walking out in the parking lot, or your mind is in La La Land, you're gonna stand behind your car with the trunk open, and you're gonna be reading something where somebody drives by and snatch your purse out of the basket. You got to be aware of your surroundings. Wait till you least inside of your car or your truck, shut the door, lock the door before you decide you wanna read something or whatever. You have to be careful. You got to be aware of your surroundings. And one of the things I suggest you do too, you got to do what a lot of people in Detroit do. A lot of people in Detroit, like when they get up in the morning, sometimes some people be getting up and they'll go to the high school track, and they'll walk around the track. Or if they're not walking around the track, they may walk around in a big park. Okay, a lot of the people in Detroit, especially a lot of women, they'll go buy them a golf club. And that's a very, very good idea. They'll walk with that golf club. They'll have one hand, they'll have that long golf club, and at the end, I think they call it a driver. Yeah, and that golf club is for if somebody comes, even if they just swing a little bit and hit somebody's leg, you're gonna bruise somebody's leg. You might even break or chip on somebody's bone. Okay? So you might want to do like a lot of ladies and a lot of men do in the city of Detroit. If you out walking, you should be out walking either in the morning, and don't go out by yourself. Go out with another person. Go out by twos. If you look in the Bible, Jesus sent the disciples out by twos. He didn't send just one person out by himself. He sent them by twos. So one person can get snatched up, but if it's two people, at least two people can possibly fight off the person. Especially if you got some golf club. You got a golf club with you, you walking with your girlfriend, or a guy's walking with somebody else, you have your little golf club. A lot of people in Detroit do that. Even if you just swing it a little bit, you hit somebody, you're gonna bruise somebody, you're gonna hurt somebody, and you gotta be able to use that golf club too if somebody wanna act stupid, because there's some stupid people out here. So keep that in mind. Be aware of your surroundings. This is how to protect yourself. This is how to protect yourself. This is how to protect yourself. Looking around, seeing what's going on in your environment. All right, come back for part 2. Peace.